To trade or not to trade? That is the question. Whether it is nobler to keep an Iron Man or avoid the slings and arrows by trading him. Okay, about now Shakespeare's rolling over in his grave. But that's what we're talking about. A trade or not a trade. With Marcus Semien next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, that's kind of the modern day version of to be or not to be, deal or no deal. And is it worth it? Is it possible? Is it something the Rangers would be interested? Those are some of the questions we try to answer. Jeff tried to answer them in a very complete and very well done, thorough article at alldlls.com. I hope you have a chance to see that. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson. We've got the cat over here. Do you know what play that Shakespeare play?
Be or not to be? Yeah. Was it Macbeth?
Hamlet.
Hamlet? One of the two.
The opening line of Hamlet. It's okay.
I meant to say Hamlet.
Yeah, Hamlet. So anyway, yeah, especially not Shakespearean trivia, right? But yeah, I thought it was just a fantastic article, Jeff. Very complete, very thorough. You looked at it from all sides. So let's now break it down, and our chatters are already chatting along. We love to have you. Thank you for being there. Look, first of all, as you suggest, to me, the biggest roadblock is the $72 million.
Yeah.
Because it pares down the number of possible trade partners considerably.
It does. It does. To take on the whole salary, yes. There may be teams that want to take on Marcus at a reduced salary, but that would save the Rangers money. Let's say they end up eating half of that contract. That's still $36 million, $13 million
per year, basically.
Each, $12 million technically over the next 3 years, but it's 13 these next two. So that would that's $13 million. You can go get a real good bullpen piece, or a couple.
Might be able to get a closer.
Yeah. So it's finding those guys, and as Sports Zone, I think it was Sports Zone had said, the Cardinals, it's like they have not a bad contract, but a big contract that they want to pay in Sonny Gray. So could you do a contract swap there and maybe get something else in return? A bigger deal than just straight up.
That's not a good deal. I mean, really fading Sonny Gray for Semien.
He was pretty good this year, but point being, that's something you probably would consider. And then then you look at the Dodgers. Their second baseman is Tommy Edman.
Yeah.
All right, you can do. Marcus Semien's better than Tommy Edman, right? The Mets, as came up here in the chat, sports guy To, my man. The Mets, that owner has all kinds of money.
Yeah, he doesn't care about money.
And Jeff McNeil is not the player he once was. So I think it's possible to find teams that would take the whole contract, but it's a very small handful. And then you kind of look around and you're like, okay, who would take it at a discount rate? Who needs a second baseman? Well, at that point, what just kind of look around the league and figure it out. And then, shoot, even the Astros could probably upgrade a second base.
Sure.
I don't know if the Rangers would want to do that.
No.
Or the Astros for that matter. But the point is, there are probably trade partners out there. But you got to, kick the tires and all that stuff and see that. But it's the money. You're right. The money's the first thing. The second thing is the age thing. Marcus is 35.
Right.
There's been 2 straight years of decline. Is it age-related? Well, Chris Young doesn't think so. He thinks that Marcus is takes such great shape of himself, or keeps himself in such great shape, that he would be able to do what's necessary to rebound this year. Okay, great. But still, if you can get younger at that spot and it's a better value, don't you do it? I mean, I would
Yes, I think, yes, if you can, because it's unlikely that Marcus is going to get better. Now, he may be able to duplicate. I thought you pointed this out very well. And after 57 games, I think it was this year, his numbers were back on a trajectory to be very good. Of course, the rest of the season was cut short because of the broken bone and the Lisfranc in his foot. But when he was on that better trajectory, right, if he could play there, okay. But I don't know that he can play any better than there right now.
Yeah. It was, on May 28th, which has been a big day for Marcus with the Rangers.
Yeah.
May
First
28th
home run.
and 22 was his first home run with the Rangers, a grand slam. On May 28th of this season, he was batting 173.
Okay.
All right.
That's not good.
That is not good.
No.
And then over the final 71 games he played, he batted 280 with an 801 OPS. That's pretty good. There were only 2 second basemen in baseball who, for the full season, posted an OPS above 800. So if you have that Marcus Semien, that's a heck of a player.
Yep.
You want that Marcus.
You don't
Semien.
want to let him go. Right.
But do you want to bet on that? Do you want to bet that it's there? Because if we're really being honest, his 22 season wasn't spectacular. It was another slow start, and then he came on and ended up posting not terrible numbers. He got his average up that year to 248, which isn't great, but it was pretty bad. He did have a 733 OPS, which is probably about league average. Hit the long ball, did a lot of the good things. This year, he just wasn't able to come all the way back. And, of course, he missed the final, 40 games, let's say 35, 40 games. So that's not insignificant, but he was not going to hit. He had 26 home runs in 2022. He wasn't going to hit 11 home runs probably in that final month of the season. Right. So he had a lot of catching up to do. And then, now it becomes a sales pitch, if you will. Why? If Chris Young is going to contact the team and say, "Hey, we're wondering about Marcus Semien," they're going to be like, "Oh my God,
what? Yeah, yeah."
So you got to sell it and kind of bring up the points that the 801 OPS and the work ethic and how he is very, very rarely hurt, how he plays all the time, all of those things. So yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be honestly, is he a bad player? No. Can you do better? Yes. And I think for the value, and that's what it all comes down to. It's just teams that are working on a budget. They got to have the value. They got to get the bang for the buck. I don't know that he's providing that. He's great defensively, and he's a good base runner. And again, he's going to play all the time. But it also sounded like there's some stubbornness in there because he said throughout the entire first 2 months, I'm not changing anything. I'm going to stick to my routine, stick to my plan, and it's going to get me out of it. It's helped me before. It helped me again. Well, it took 2 months, and during those 2 months, the Rangers' offense was awful, and he was right there at the top of the order for a lot of it. And Chris Young said in the season-ending press conference, we believe there are some changes to make there mechanically, and then he said philosophically. So it's a two-way street. Marcus needs to budge a little bit here, and can't want to go through another year like this. So at some point, there's got to be a recognition that maybe what I'm doing needs to be changed a little bit.
100%. Every player has to realize at some point that they have to change the way they approach pretty much everything about the offseason, about the in-season. Everything has to change as a nod to Father Time. And you can lengthen this thing, or you can stay stubborn and shorten it, really. Yeah. I mean, because you have to do things differently. And it's not like, we view Semien as some guy who's been out there chugging beers and eating McDonald's,
Right.
I think he's taken very good care of himself. Year in and year out, you don't play as often and as long as he has without doing that. However, even he, all right, so if he's been eating kale and berries, he's got to find something that works better than kale and berries and whatever else it might be. He's in great shape, but he's got to change something, and he's got to be willing, Jeff, to change something. I liked your thought, too, when you're talking about just the what would you put there, the Luis Arise idea, in the fact that this guy played for Skip Schumacher, and Schumacher has called him one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah, there's issues there because 29 other teams want to sign him.
Sure.
And he has expressed a desire to stay with the Padres. Now, maybe a phone call from his old manager would help change his mind. Maybe a nice, the Rangers may have to, I don't know if you want to say overpay, but maybe go like an extra year, on what a deal might look like. If it's going to be a 4-year deal, then maybe the Rangers end up giving him 5. If they believe he's their guy. Now, Arise last played second base at a full-time rate in 2023 for Skip Schumacher on that Marlins team that went to the postseason. He played mostly first base last year. Rangers, I don't know that anybody has a firm grasp on that job.
Right.
So it's still possible to acquire Arise without trading Semien. But at that, then what are you going to do with Berger?
Again, you got to remember Berger's also a guy that Skip Schumacher loves.
Right.
So.
And then what would you do with Peterson? And so there's some things. But the internal candidates, would you make Josh Smith an everyday player?
Yeah, maybe.
It's his first year of arbitration. He'll probably get around $3 million. I don't think you want to stick Ezekiel Duran out there.
I don't think so, but he's shown when he plays every day, he's a better player. And again,
I mean, they all are. Yeah. But is he better than Marcus Semien? I don't know. And the thing with Zeke is he makes a lot of mistakes, a lot of mental mistakes on the bases and things like that.
Yes, that's true.
So then you've got Cody Freeman, who we all love as a guy who had a great year in the minors.
Spark plug. Yep.
Then he came up to the Rangers and was a spark plug, but he had a 600 OPS.
Yeah.
So, and he's a young player. He can grow into it. But if you're trying to upgrade your offense, you want to have the patience to
let him grow into it at the major league level.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's what you'd have to do. So at that rate, it's like, well, go with a guy who has Marcus Semien's upside, and maybe he realizes it again, or we go with this young guy who's going to save us a ton of money, but it may be a lot of growing pains. So I don't know. There's a lot of things, but I don't think that second base is completely spoken for at this point. I really think that the Rangers will look around and see if there's a way to move more so as much the contract as the player. I think the contract is a big deal.
I do too, and I think and I thought this was
a bigger
where
deal.
Rarity,
a bigger deal.
Yeah, I thought where Rarities was going, and I think I misunderstood. But anyway, I don't trade him if all I can save is $5 million a year.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just not not enough of an improvement and a savings for me to trade a guy who might still have some great years in him. But I'm probably at a 50% threshold. Right. If I can get that kind of money back, 13 for the next 2, then I feel pretty good about the trade. Now, that said, I would trade, and this is a topic for another day, but I'd trade Jock Peterson to save $5 million because that's only 1 year, and we saw what we saw, right? So, anyway, it's clearly a double standard. But Marcus Semien has provided enough. T.O. mentioned his leadership and his championship, pedigree and all that. Marcus Semien has offered me enough that I don't trade him to just save, it sounds like ridiculous, just a few million, $5 million. I need more back. I need the other team to, accept more of his contract than that in order for me to make a trade. Although that said, tell me what I'm getting back. I mean, I suppose that could alter it.
Sure, if you're going to get back a great player, but I don't know why the team would do that.
Doesn't seem like that makes
there's
any
not a
sense.
plausible.
Yeah, makes no sense for the other team.
Yeah,
So
right.
anyway, second base very much in flux, and that's surprising when you have a guy who has 3 times been third in the MVP voting and who helped you win a World Series and who has 3 years left on his contract. But we will be keeping a very close eye on that one. Coming up next, let's talk about the week ahead for the Rangers and a few other things that have happened with the Rangers recently. It's all coming up. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
John, you smell delightful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. I was in the rain all day Saturday as I got prune hands, and I never I didn't go in the pool. I didn't soak. I was that right?
Yeah.
Bad. Needed Mando. Jumped right in the shower after the rain shower and felt like I'd had a lot of showers. and then I went right to Mando just to freshen up. It's a fantastic product. They've got all kinds of products within the product, within the name brand. There's powders, there's wipes, there's creams, there's roll-ons, and there's one for you. There's different fragrances, which I actually have not delved into much, and I may do that next. But I'm a big fan of Mando. I'm a big fan of everything they do to help keep me smelling nice, as Jeff.
I appreciate that too. Yeah,
Jeff does, the Queen does, everybody does. So Mando.com, get $5 off your starter pack. The code DLLS.
And you were going to need Mando after you complete the Rangers 5K. It's 5K season here in DFW. There's no better way to keep your streaks going than at the official Texas Rangers 5K presented by Medical City Healthcare. November 9th at Global Life Field. That's a Sunday. I will not be in attendance as I will be returning from a trip to Kentucky to drink bourbon.
Ooh,
anyway,
nice.
This is a race you won't find anywhere else. You know why? You're running around the Arlington Entertainment District with all the cool stuff that they have there, and you're finishing inside Globe Life Field.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool, Get to run in there, and there's the finish line and all the adoring fans, and maybe the roof will be open. Maybe it'll be nice enough for the roof to be open, the sun shining in. But afterwards, you get to go to a nice party in the outfield with yard games and a DJ and so much more. And if you're a marathoner, awesome. If you're just a casual runner like me, go ahead and sign up. Doesn't matter at all your level of expertise. They just want you to go there. So registration closes on the 2nd of November, which is coming up. So run over to globalfield.com/5K to secure your spot today.
So you know what they should do?
Let's do the Duran question, but go ahead.
Yes,
yeah.
we will.
Yeah.
But what they should do is they should put all those fake people that they had
the cardboard
during COVID,
cutouts. Yeah.
put the cardboard people in the stands and then pipe in crowd noise. That'd really make the runners feel good, wouldn't it?
It would.
They'd
Yeah,
feel like, look at all those people cheering for me.
Yeah.
Actually, you wouldn't think that because they were really fake looking. We were there. They looked ridiculous. And I can't tell you how many people, because you could pay to have, your likeness put in a seat. How many people would see me on the show and call me, would you go find my person and get a picture next to it?
Really?
Really.
We weren't allowed in the stands.
I guess I was because I
were?
was doing sidelines too.
Okay.
So I was in the stand. I did it. I mean, I'm a nice guy. I did it for several people. But anyway, yes, Duran. I thought the same thing before we dive into this other stuff. There has been all kinds of talk about the trading of Duran, which seems to become more and more possible. And the Rangers seem to be mentioned in almost every one of the scenarios.
I don't understand why the Red Sox would want to trade the guy.
Me neither.
First of all, he didn't have his best year, but it was still a really good year, right?
Very good.
He has an $8 million team option, $100,000 buyout. I mean, it's Anyway, and then I believe he goes into arbitration at that point.
Okay.
So there's a lot of reasons to not trade this guy. Okay, so let's say they trade him. He played mostly left field this year. So the Rangers could, I guess, move Langford to center or Langford to right.
Right, maybe. I don't think they want him in
maybe
center.
They put Duran in right. I don't know about his arm. But anyway, he's a left-handed batter. He has some power.
And he's a extra base machine.
Right.
But again, part of that is the green monster.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to hit
flipping
triples.
balls the other way out there and then finding that triangle and all that stuff. Anyway, what would it take to get him? I'm assuming a lot.
That's the biggest problem, I think, with this Rangers organization right now.
Right.
I'm not sure they have enough to trade for him.
They could, but it would leave the cupboard even more bare in the farm system than it is. So I don't know what it would take. You know, the Red Sox made Justin Slayton a Rule 5 pick a couple years ago, and that's worked out pretty well as a reliever. And maybe they like the crop of Rangers arms. Slayton was a 4th-round pick, but he was always kind of under the radar. He kind of struggled a little bit earlier in his professional career, and then seemed to find something as a reliever. All right, so what about like a Teodo? You know, somebody like that. So I'm not quite sure. Jake says Adolis for Duran straight up. I think the Red Sox do that.
They're not doing that. No.
But
be nice.
Anyway, he is an intriguing name. I thought it was pretty interesting. Also, Jim Bowden came out with his like list of free agents, top free agents.
I saw that. Yeah.
There are some Rangers who are linked to him, and he had Merrill Kelly just getting a 2-year, $30 million contract.
I saw that, and he had basically Arizona and Texas as his landing spots.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I think the Rangers could overpay a little there and get Kelly. But
I promise you, I'd take 2 years and 30 with Kelly right now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because he made 8 last year.
Yeah.
He came back from Korea and really on a team-friendly deal. I mean, him making $8 million is stealing money.
Yes.
And so he's going to get a raise. So, would you give him 2 and, I don't know, 36?
Sure.
Sure.
I'd do that.
And they had Tyler Malley. He had him getting a 1 and 17. And then also had a lot of
people
comps
connected.
So, guys in his situation, like guys who had come off of injury and there was some uncertainty and kind of some comp deals there. And then Devin Williams was another one, the former Brewers closer, and the Yankees acquired him to be their closer.
Didn't work out well there.
Didn't quite work out. But he's got that nasty changeup. So 1 and 10 million. Boy, that seems like a pretty nice deal. I'd take a flyer on that.
Too.
So anyway, T.O., I watched Duran tear us up in this ballpark. Yeah, same thing with Abreu. Pretty good little player there. And then Duran was the All-Star Game MVP here in 24
I watched that
with
game.
the 2-run homer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I watched him do that there. So anyway, yes, I think that where it breaks down for the Rangers on the trade is I just don't think that I think the cupboard's a little too bare, and I don't think they want to trade what it would take to get Duran from the Red Sox. But obviously, sometimes where there's smoke, always where there's smoke, there's fire. But we'll see how big that fire burns, and if there's enough smoke and enough fire for the Rangers to pull off something like that. What you can be glad about as a Rangers fan is what it means. I said something like this in the description of our show today. They're working it every day. Like, we're sitting here going, we're going to get to this in a minute. When are they going to name the dadgum coaches? What are they doing? Man, they are working every single day, every avenue, everything they can think of, everything they're allowed by the rules of Major League Baseball to do, they're doing right now. And to have their names, tied into things like Duran or people like, any of the ones we saw on the list from Bowden, that's good. It means they're out there doing their job. So fantastic. No coaching news so far. Obviously, there is some with other teams that we'll talk about later in the cleanup segment, but nothing yet with the Rangers. I still believe it's almost like a tradition for them, lack of a better word, that they like to announce all the assistant coaches at the same time. So I think we're going to get it all at once. And obviously, it could come this week if the World Series ends this week, but it may not be until after.
Yeah, and things are going to start popping here because they did have their pro scouting meetings last week. So that's where they come together and put the final stamp on their plan or plans. And then the World Series is going to end.
Yeah.
It can't go past Saturday, right? So once the last out is made, free agency opens, then there's 5 days where you can't talk to anybody. You have to wait 5 days, and then it really opens.
Yep.
But it's not like the NBA where everybody signs at 12:01 on the day it opens. These things, right? No tampering.
No tampering.
These things take forever, and but as we learned and have seen, we learned it for sure last year. Chris Young made a call to Kyle Higashioka's agent, said, "We want Kyle," and how much Kyle appreciated that and made him feel all warm and fuzzy. And, a couple of weeks later, they had a deal for him. So I think that it's going to start unwinding. The GM meetings are November 10th to the 13th in Las Vegas. I will not be attending those, but you'll be in Las Vegas.
I'll be in Las Vegas then.
For
if
another
something big
thing
happens, I'm over there. Yeah,
we'll get you a credential. And then, the winter meetings are December 8th through the 10th, 7th through the 10th, something like that, and at Walt Disney World. And so, I'll be there.
Yeah, we're trying to talk Skipper Ben into going with you, but the problem is he'll be on Space Mountain, and you'll be doing the work.
Yeah.
So I'm worried. Skipper's a big fan of the whole Disney complex over there.
Yeah. Magic Kingdom and all that stuff. Animal Planet. What is it called? The Animal
Planet.
I don't think that's
Kingdom,
right.
Maybe Animal Kingdom. Anyway, yeah. So, but that's all upcoming. We do expect it though someday soon that these coaches will be locked up and announced. Others are going off the board. More on that later as well. Speaking of Kyle Higashioka, he is a finalist, Jeff, for the philanthropist finalist, the best philanthropists in the game today. I didn't know about this award.
Yeah, if
we got that pick, there it is. Yeah,
that's great. And if he does his philanthropical endeavors have not been
he
advertised.
Them.
He doesn't
That's
broadcast
right.
them. He does behind the scenes.
I was going to say the same thing. Animal Kingdom, Natalie. Thank you. I was going to say the same thing. I mean,
I like Animal Planet.
I like Pizza Planet from Toy Story. I didn't get to know Kyle as well as I would have liked. Part of that is that he's a catcher.
Yeah.
And they aren't in the clubhouse that often because there's so much work to do. But I sure didn't know that about him.
Right.
And we do know when guys.
It does not surprise me.
No, me neither. Not a bit. But I am glad to hear that it hadn't come up with you either, because in some ways, I remember, in his heyday, Dirk would just go off to Scottish Rites and didn't want any. He'd walk around Scottish Rites and just talk to the kids that were in their children's hospital, and I always love that when I hear and know that a guy did that. So whether that's what Kyle did, I don't know, but he was obviously philanthropic. So good guy, and he'll be back. We know that's
right.
a fact. So that's very good. So this is the 2-year anniversary of really one of the big home runs in the history of this team. When Game 1 happened in the World Series, Corey Seager hit a pretty big one.
It was big.
Yeah.
It was big. And, the thing I like about that, a little trivia part of it, I don't know, it was a 2-run homer.
Yeah.
And the runner on base was not Marcus Semien. It was Leody Taveras, the number 9 hitter who took a leadoff walk against Paul Sewald. I don't remember what Semien did, but he made an out. And then Seager stepped up and just destroyed that ball. And, I remember sitting in the press box with John Moore, and I was like, just watch how far this thing goes, and of course, the moment was a loss. I mean, the game was tied and the Rangers were about to win. And then another big home run. The winning home run came 2 innings later when Adolis Garcia connected.
Yep.
But man, what a moment. And he showed the emotion. Seager did.
Yes, that was when it really broke free.
Yeah, and also he'd homered in Game 6. I think it was Game 6
Oh yeah, the ALCS.
of the ALCS.
That's right.
And we were all like, wow, Corey Seager. And I was trying to think back because 2020 when the World Series and the NLCS were at Globe Life Field amid COVID, he was both the NLCS MVP and the World Series MVP. And I guess because I didn't follow the Dodgers or whatever, I don't remember, but I think he probably had some of those moments also.
He did, but I don't remember any emotion. But then again, everything about that World Series and the CS seemed sterile because there was limited. There were people there then, but very limited, and and nobody for the CS. I don't think anybody was allowed until the World Series itself.
That's correct.
It was so strange. It was hard to. It's hard to even. I covered the whole CS and I covered 3 games, I think, of the World Series, and I could barely remember any of them. So it's also the 14-year anniversary of another day in Rangers.
Oh boy,
yeah. So
we won't talk about that.
Don't want to talk about that one. All right, more coming up as we get you ready for the World Series. Oh my goodness. Going to be a fun night. It was a fun weekend of baseball. We'll look back and forward next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Supporters Club.
Oh, it
Join
sure
the
is.
Supporters Club.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we've got 2 levels of this thing. Cheap and
I think we may
less
be
cheap.
switching to one level.
Oh, that's right. We're switching to one level. All levels, get
videos.
videos. That's what it is. Okay. So there you go. Anyway, you get emojis too, but these videos are behind the scenes stuff from your favorite reporters like John and myself, just kind of talking about our careers or how we go about our jobs or things we've experienced or things that people aren't quite seeing, that we're seeing. Things, little hints, action, stuff you don't get on this show. So anyway, the Supporters Club, it's easy to join. If you're on our homepage on the YouTube, there's a subscribe button and then there's a join button. We'll click that join button and it'll take care of all the rest.
Yeah, and did you see our newsletter today? I did. Ali did a great job talking about the Mavs' first win, and of course, the big story of the day, in some ways, isn't a story at all. The Cowboys' defense wasn't good again. They haven't really been very good all year.
Well, let's keep in mind here they're playing.
Yeah, Jeff's a big. There was one guy in the DFW area happy yesterday. That was our big Broncos fan over here. So, but that Broncos team did just dismantle the Cowboys' defense. But I do think that has more to do with the deficiencies in the Cowboys' defense. The times that they've played pretty good defensively. The offense they were playing wasn't very good. Anyway, Ali has it all covered better than I could, and he's got all the sports at your newsletter. Scroll down to the bottom of our page and go on that little box down there and click on it and then type in your email address, and you will get the newsletter in your inbox every day. Okay. World Series, man. I swear that game 1 was so much fun. It was nail-biting. And then it wasn't. And a 6-run inning or 7, what was 7, I think, in the 6th inning for the Blue Jays, just to watch that place explode. Because again, like everybody else, they came into the World Series. Even their fans came in going, well, we believe we can win. We believe we can win. Do we, Dad? Do we really believe? Do we think we can win, Dad? This is the Dodgers. They just swept the Brewers. The Brewers won 97 games. How in the heck are we going to win? I don't know if we can win. Can we win? They won. And they won with the first ever grand slam by a pinch hitter in World Series history.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. And I was trying to think, all right, is it really the first one? There hasn't been one before. It's like, well, yeah, how often do the 2 best teams in the league, in respective leagues, have bases loaded situations, and then to pinch hit in that situation.
Right.
So yeah, I guess it makes sense that was the first, but it was neat to see that. And you're right. I mean, I just liked that it was kind of a shot across the Dodgers' bow.
I did too.
Who knows? The Dodgers may win the next 3, and it may turn out like everybody thought it was. But it was nice to see. The Blue Jays can hit, which then leads us into Game 2 when they didn't hit against Yamamoto.
Oh my God.
What a special performance that was!
Unbelievable. The one thing that was so cool about the Addison Barger story came right after the game, which is when it was revealed that he slept on a hide-a-bed in a teammate's room the night before.
Wasn't it the guy he pinch hit for?
Yeah, it was.
Schneider,
yeah. So and then he did it again the next night, too, because it's really expensive to get places in Toronto, and they don't have places. And so then they're out of the hotel, whatever. That's where he slept. And so I wouldn't have moved until I needed to either after that performance. But yes, then the very next night, and I do want to show the pic, Cat, of the guy who caught the home run, the grand slam, right in the beer.
Oh,
come on. Is that fantastic? That is Canada right there. I'm telling you, he didn't even mind that he wasted his entire Labatt's or maybe it was Molson.
Could have been Blue Light.
Might have been a blue
light guy.
Yeah, I like Blue Light.
That's my Canada, Cleveland, and Detroit beer.
Yeah. Me too. When I'm up in Detroit, I'll get me a Blue Light pretty much every time. Although they got another good one there in the summer called Oberon.
Oh,
that's a topic for another day. Okay, and then and in that game also Trey Yasevich just unbelievable. Did a great job. Now he wasn't as great as he had been, but he was good enough to keep the Blue Jays in it and the Dodgers essentially out of it. But that very first at bat featured a guy who's making, I guess his prorated must be, because we know there's more money available for rookies than this, but because he got the late call up, I guess the prorated amount he's making this year is $57,000.
Yeah, that makes
and he faced a guy in the first at bat of the World Series. This is a guy, Yasevich, who started his first professional game in April.
In September.
Well, professional.
Gotcha.
Professional game at Single A. Yeah. And anyway, now all of a sudden here he is facing off against a $49 million a year guy. 57,000, Jeff, against $49 million.
Well, he did. I thought he did a good job to get out of trouble in the second inning, and then I was surprised that they let him start the fourth because he was at like 71 pitches, but then he handled it perfect. 1, 2, 3 inning, I believe, and then they got him out. But it was still a tight game at that point. I think the Blue Jays were actually losing at that point. And then Snell just didn't seem on.
No,
he
didn't.
Walked too many guys in the first, and
that's his thing. That's his bugaboo.
And he'd had a layoff. These Dodgers starters that had a layoff seemed to affect him. It didn't affect Yamamoto. But anyway, like I said, all right, the Blue Jays got one.
Yep. Yamamoto made sure they didn't get two, and he told Dave Roberts before the game. He said, "I'm here to win. We're going to win, right?"
Yeah.
And Dave Roberts, he had that look in his eye, and he's the first Dodgers pitcher to throw back-to-back complete games in the postseason. So because his first, previous complete game was obviously in the NLCS.
Yeah.
Then he had this one, and he's the first to do that since '88. Oral Hershiser. So that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he walks into the clubhouse after the game, probably after his media, things that he had to do, and going to the podium and all the stuff he had to do with the Japanese media. He walks into the clubhouse and he sees a couple of Japanese. Now we talk, because we'll bow. I remember bowing occasionally to some of the Japanese players over the years. That's the bow, Jeff, right there.
That is deep bow.
That is
the deeper the bow, the more respect.
You're offering. Roki Sasaki and Will Ayrton, he's Otani's translator, right? Will?
Maybe.
I think he's Otani's translator. But anyway,
that's definitely not Ippei anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's when he gets out of jail, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so that was pretty cool. Tonight it's Scherzer and Glasnow. And Tyler doesn't have a great history in the World Series proper. He's lost his only 2 games pitched, but he lost them to the Dodgers when he was with the Rays. So
Okay.
yeah,
And he lost one of the 2 games to the Rangers in the 23 wild card round.
yep.
And so but he's good. He's oft injured when he is healthy. A lot of stuff. Big fastball, big slider, lots of hair.
Yeah, boy, tons of hair.
So we'll see what happens. I guess the bigger concern I think is probably Scherzer,
The 41-year-old.
the 41-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw somebody on Twitter say Scherzer will either give up 7 in the first inning, or he'll take a shutty, as the person put, or he'll take a shutty, which is a shutout, take a shutty into the 6th, right? I mean, and it kind of feels like that. I feel like he is at this stage, especially, kind of all or nothing.
Feels like it, yeah, and it kind of felt that way with the Rangers. But he is a big game kind of guy. He kind of lives for these moments, and he pitched for the Dodgers in the postseason previously and wasn't particularly good.
No, that's right.
And so he may have some
back in 21. That was
have some fans there at Dodger Stadium welcoming him back. But hey, he was pitching. I don't know if people forget this, but he started Game 3 of the World Series for the Rangers and had 3 scoreless innings.
Yeah, he did.
Or his back locked up.
Yep.
And then John Gray came in and dominated. And anyway, there's the fire, there's the intensity. It's all there, but does it translate? We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to see. John Schneider was two things. He said, one, he said he was celebrating after they beat the Mariners, and Max came up to him during the celebration. Hey, Skip, am I going to be able to pitch? Am I going to be able to pitch in the World Series? And he's like, Max, I'm just trying to enjoy a beer. You know? Give me a break. And the other thing they asked him in one of his press conferences, one of the millions you do as a manager during the World Series, they said, so are you going to go out to the mound? If we remember, the last time he went out to the mound was the famous no, you're not taking me out of this game. Because no, I think I'll probably limit my mound visits today, which is probably a pretty good idea. Shohei Ohtani hit a 469-foot home run in the CS, and this is the Dodgers organization and Dodger Stadium. They've already got a plaque up to commemorate that blast that he hit in the NLCS. So there it is. It's way out there too. I should have shown the wider picture too.
Yeah.
But it's way. I mean, again, 469. And I wonder, did it hit that high up? It might have been on the way up when it hit that wall right there. So
it's a big ballpark.
it is a big ballpark. It's like, and it's like this. It doesn't go up; it goes out. It seems like so. It's a big one. And then I guess the Dodgers, have a secret weapon. Maybe lots of them, Hollywood types. The Jonas Brothers apparently showed up at the game in Toronto. This is a pic of the guys with them back in Los Angeles. So I hope that they got a concert tonight or something. I think they're reunited, Jeff, for a while.
Don't they? Doesn't one of them live here or used to live here in Westlake?
I think that is right. One of them did. The oldest one. Maybe?
I don't know. I only know one of their names, Joe.
Well, and I know Nick.
Oh, well,
I don't,
shoot, we're half the way there.
You know one of them, Kat, by any chance? Any of the Jonas Brothers? No.
Billy.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, you got Nick and Joe and the other guy.
So, real quick, I guess that yesterday, Dave Roberts said, "Well, we got out of Toronto. I don't know if the delays were intentional or not, but we made it." And some people are like, "Oh, well, the Blue Jays have to travel out of the country all the time." Look, the Rangers teams do not like going to Canada because custom officials there, even for the charters, are much more deliberate than they ordinarily and maybe than they should be. And there are more than just the Dodgers who think that, especially in the playoffs, that the custom officials have some ulterior motives in their investigations of flights heading out of the country. So, look, I think maybe it's Canadians being offended, but it's true. There is the belief in baseball that this happens.
It's interesting because I've flown on the Rangers charter and on the Stars charter, and by far, I've had more difficult in customs in Canada with the hockey team than I have with the baseball team. Yeah, so, but I don't, by far. And luckily, like they were giving everybody grief. I think I was in Vancouver with the Stars. They're giving everybody grief. And all of a sudden, this guy says, John Radigan. I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm from Dallas. And I go, why? Do you know these are the Dallas Stars? Why are you giving them grief? Oh, I don't recognize any of them. I moved away in 95. I remember you from TV. Go on through. I'm like, thank you. But yeah, but everybody was getting grief. And so, but that was Vancouver too, not Toronto. I don't know.
Okay.
Personal experience. There you go. And I do believe you. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all the the traveling coordinators.
I'm not talking bad about Canada. Just saying. This is what teams believe.
Yep. Okay. More coming. Cleanup segment, and we'll clean up things that are still left in the chat. We appreciate you. We're talking it all next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. And it's time for you to be a diehard. I'm telling you this, if you haven't read it yet, this column, like a column, it's an article, but it's
tried to be very neutral.
Yeah, it's a very good story that Jeff wrote. It's so complete, and it breaks it down. It's all about the possibility of trading Marcus Semien, and you'll want to get it and reference it. And if you don't become a diehard, you won't be able to get it. It's not that expensive. $6.50 a day, as we've said many times. $79.99, so much cheaper than any of the other services that are out there to get sports news every day. And most of the other ones don't have a beat writer for each and every team as we do. So you've got to get yourself a diehard membership if you haven't by scanning the QR code, or you can simply go to alldlls.com/join. And if you do those things, you can become a diehard today. I promise you, you will think it's worth it.
Yep. And you see John with the Texas Chew shirt on. I have on the Mavs flag shirt on beneath my pullover, and I have on the DLLS hat. I wore yesterday during the Broncos game a Denver Broncos shirt from the DNVR.
DNVR, yeah.
Anyway, you can get all of these items and much more at store.allcitynetwork.com. That's where you're going to go when you get your free shirt from becoming a diehard. And you're going to get 20% off of our merchandise at store.allcitynetwork.com if you are a diehard. There's the Dallas collection, bunch of sharp shirts there. John's a big fan of the Dallas versus all y'all. I am too. I have that one. And John, of course, has the Nolan Ryan Ventura pixelated deal there. I don't have that one yet, so I probably ought to get it. And I can do that at store.allcitynetwork.com and get 20% off.
Yeah. That's what you get for being a diehard. So here you go, cleaning things up. The the influx has begun of hiring managers. I think there are 4 now of all the openings. 4 have
5 left,
and 5 left. So 4 hired, 5 left. Of course, the Schumacher thing happened immediately, and then we've kind of been waiting on the others. It seemed like once we heard about Vitello, it took forever. I can't say I ever heard Craig Albornoz on the Orioles front, but he's been a guy in searches for a couple of years now. He was on the bench with the Guardians for the past 2 years, and they've been a really good team the past 2 years, a team that's made the playoffs the past 2 years. And apparently, he's besties with his buddy, the manager there, whose name I'm drawing a blank on at the moment. And so, they're not thrilled to leave.
Stephen Vogt.
Thank you, Stephen Vogt. And Vogt hates to lose him, but he's going to Baltimore. And so, the Orioles have their man.
I tell you what, the Orioles are good. I mean, they just have so much talent,
They do.
and they had a lot of injuries this season. They got off to that really rugged start and couldn't overcome it. But they're pretty good. They do need some starting pitching. Really, their pitching staff needs to kind of realize its potential. The young guys have been hurt. Grayson Rodriguez, chief among them. So, but they're going to get their closer back this season. So, I think he's stepping into a pretty good situation.
I think so too. There appears to be a issue, a concern, for lack of a better word. That maybe Hyde didn't get all that he could have gotten from management / even ownership, right? And that we know in this day and age, it's all trickle down, right? I mean, it's not even trickle down. It's a collaborative effort to be a manager, right?
Yeah.
We know that's the reality of baseball today, that it's collaborative. The front office, the general manager, the manager, everybody is in on the decision making, not necessarily the lineups yet, although I think in some cases maybe even the lineups.
Yeah.
But it's collaborative, and I think Hyde pushed back is what I hear a little too often, and they said, nope, we're going to find somebody that won't push back. And I think you need to have a guy who's got the gravitas to push back and say, I'm not sure that's the best way to go, and you need to have people above him who are willing to say, well, thank you. I like you challenging that. Let's talk it through. Whatever.
Yeah, that was one thing. And the Rangers, there's a lot to be said for continuity. But the Rangers, for a long time under John Daniels, it was nobody left. AJ Preller left, but everybody else stayed.
Yeah.
It's like, who's pushing back? Are they all saying, "Oh, well, that was a great idea. I've got to paint my house brown too this summer." Are they all were they all like-minded and not getting any pushback? And JD said, no, that wasn't the case. It was always good and discussion and whatnot. Yeah. But like when Chris Young came in, I was like, hey, this guy's kind of been an outsider. It was like one of the first impactful outside additions to the front office. Is like, oh wow, okay, this is pretty interesting. A former player and all this stuff. So anyway, but it sounds like maybe that's what happened to Brandon Hyde. That he ran into a bunch of guys who didn't want to hear that. Hey, your way
isn't necessarily
may not be the way.
Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't know this, but I heard it on MLB Network driving in today. The owner there, David Rubenstein,
new owner. Yeah.
Had to make a bobblehead of him.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So that's fun.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, if you're the boss.
Imagine a Ray Davis bobblehead.
Jesus.
Ray would not do that. No, that's not Ray's style in any world that we live in. The Mariners have made a promise to their fans through their owner, a full-page ad taken out in the newspaper that says, basically, fans, we feel your pain. We're so sorry. We're in this to win it. This is just the beginning of what will be a wonderful era in Mariners baseball. We saw you here at the games going crazy, which they did. That game 5, literally, I think, registered on the Richter scale when they played the Tigers, I mean. And then he said they were, at the airport and at the stadium at 3:00 in the morning when they arrived after their tough loss to the Blue Jays. So anyway, it's interesting to see and hear that as a fan. I don't know if you just go, yeah, or if as a fan of one of the divisional foes of the Mariners, you go, okay, man, this guy's in now. He's been bitten, right?
Yeah.
By this bug.
Sure. And he's on record now.
Full page.
So glad. Hey, where are your promises? Sounds like the payroll is going to continue to make positive increments for them. And if their goal is to re-sign Josh Naylor and or Eugenio Suarez and maybe extend some guys that are young players or great players like Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, you might want to. You're going to have to spend money to keep those guys. And if you think that that's the winning formula with the great pitching with Gilbert and Wu, and then like I said, those couple hitters, the core to win in the postseason, then yeah, you got to spend some money.
Sure, absolutely true. And I don't know that they'll spend all. I mean, if they'll go all in, but I think it's an indication that they're they're fired up. They're ready to sort of take that next step. And oh man, it's such a long route to get back to where they were one game away from making their first ever World Series. Unbelievable. Somebody put this in the chat. We appreciate you. I think it might have been Rarities. Troy Snitker hired as the Mets hitting coach. He's, of course, Brian Snitker, the former, or is he current Braves still? Whatever.
He's out. He
out.
retired.
Yeah, he retired. That's right. So Brian Snitker's son, who's been the Astros hitting coach for several years now. And this wasn't a great year offensively for the Astros, although there were a lot of injuries, as we've noted. But he got groomed in Houston, and he's headed to New York to see if he can, get that collection of great hitters together. Alonso's a free agent, but if they re-sign Alonso, you've got Soto, you've got all that, Lindor, you've got all that great hitting potential.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's an easy job, but it can't be too hard if
you got to unlock.
If your main guy is Soto.
You start with Soto,
who had a bad year, quote unquote, at like 40 home runs or whatever it was. I mean, give me a break. All right, so there you go. Yeah. They didn't hire Brett Boone. I don't think he was ever a candidate, but
no.
Hey, Brett Boone's still out there for the Rangers.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Waiting to hear that one.
Yeah, waiting to hear that one. It was all about Sports Zone who said that. Thank you. Rarities was talking about Jock Peterson being at the Mavs game last night. Well, that's good. Cool. I mean, if he's in the area and he's working and he's, getting to know his teammates and the new coaches better, I mean, the reality is they owe him $17 million.
Yeah.
So it's most likely that he's going to be here.
Yeah.
And so since he's going to be here, I want him to do everything he can do to be the best Jock Peterson he can be. We know what that looks like, and it looks good. Yeah,
it does. I mean, it's really good. He can hit the ball a long way. A lot of raw power in there, and a lot of game power. It's we'll see what happens. But again, there's a way to move on from him, I think.
Sure.
They'll pursue that as well.
Yeah, they're going to pursue everything. And, just because he was there at a Mavs game doesn't mean he's gotten any sort of vote of confidence or anything from the Rangers. But if he's here, if he's working, if he's getting to know the new coaching staff, that's nothing but good signs about, how he is approaching this offseason and how he is approaching, hopefully his approach to next season, because he's under contract for one more year. So we've got a fun week coming ahead this week, as we're going to have a Hall of Famer in here to join us on Wednesday from the Big Boy Hall of Fame, the National Baseball Hall of Fame, as Fergie Jenkins will be in here on Wednesday.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Talk a little baseball with us. We'll be having more guests throughout the course of the off season, no doubt about that. But it should be really fun. I mean, Fergie's, and he's from a bygone era.
So
it'll be really fun to pick his brain. And again, as it would be, I've tried Nolan a time or two and he's never up here and haven't been able to get him on, but didn't like technology that much. But but he, they're from a similar era where it was, you just keep pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut up about pitch counts and load management or whatever else. Quality starts.
When you talk about Yamamoto, I have this thought. I think these guys, major league starters, are all capable of throwing complete games.
Agreed.
I just think that they get their hands cuffed or their leashes pulled or whatever by how much money they make. You don't want the investment to get damaged. You're paying these guys a ton of money. And then, the analytics and, you can't face a guy a third time through the batting order. And it's like, well, let him try.
Yeah.
You
buckle down. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're up 8-0, and if your bullpen's tired, send him back out.
Yep.
And if he gets up 3 runs, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're still up 5.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're down 8-0, same thing. Right?
Yeah.
You're probably not catching up anyway. Their guy's obviously good. So anyway, fun talk will come, no doubt. That'll be Wednesday as we're here that day at 1 o'clock. In fact, we're here every day this week at 1 o'clock, and we'll be excited to bring you each and every day this week the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.